Are you ready for some more Outriders news updates? This is going to be a good one. Tons of cool stuff in this video. We're going to be talking about how a player actually stumbled upon this massive tripod creature right here in the game. Check it out. We're going to discuss what this means and where he actually found the creature. And also, we're going to be talking about how DLC plans are going to be up to you, the players. What does this exactly mean for the post-launch of Outriders and the support for the game going forward? Plus, a lot of you guys really want the ability to favorite your gear items, your weapons, so you don't accidentally dismantle them. Well, there's been a really cool discovery about the final version of the game. It looks like that could actually be happening, where you can actually lock away your items and not worry about that happening. Plus, the devs comment on those pesky loading cutscenes. And also, can we expect PvP in the future for Outriders? Is that something you guys even want to see? All right, let's dive in. Hey everyone, what's happening? Open World Games here. Hope you're doing good, and let's do this. So first of all, what about that tripod creature? This thing is really cool. So someone actually spotted this out on Reddit. And by the way, remember, I am doing an epic Outriders giveaway. See the description below if you want a chance to win a copy of the game when it actually releases. But anyway, yeah, this is really cool. It says, saw this today while farming Payback. I was at an absolute loss for words. This thing is massive and strikingly beautiful as well. You can see the tripod creature looks to be absolutely massive, and it seems like it's going to be something we will be able to face off against. Perhaps it's going to be like a huge boss fight or battle. I think it's going to be freaking awesome. And it reminds me of something from War of the Worlds. Now, you found this during the Payback mission. You can find the full video in the description below if you want to check it out for yourself. But really cool find, and it's amazing to see the size and scope of this thing in gameplay, and to see that it's actually like kind of there. It's not moving or anything. It's not animated. I think they're going to reserve that for the actual launch of the game. So hopefully it's as impressive as the actual cutscene that we have seen during the demo. All right, now what about the DLC plans, the post-launch content? Let's talk about that right now. This comes from CBR.com. It says, as Square Enix Outriders demo is finally finding its way into the hands of eager gamers, and the reactions will determine future content. So, it says, although Square Enix potential Destiny killer Outriders is still a few weeks from release, fans are already questioning the game's future. Developer People Can Fly has a wealth of experience designing games, but there's always the concern over where a new IP can go. Absolutely. It says, recently CBR had the opportunity to speak with Outriders creative director Bartek Kamata, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, and lead game designer Peter Nowalski on the planned future for Outriders, but it seems all hands are focused only on getting the game polished and ready for release. However, that could easily change. I absolutely love that their focus is getting this game polished, and you know, they have been excellent with giving feedback and fixing things during the demo. So let's see what they have to say. This. Right now, it's up to the players, creative director Bartek Kamita told CBR when asked about potential DLC for the game. If they want more, we are more than happy to create more content, more adventures, more stories, more classes, other things. Right now, we're not thinking about that. We want to ship the game, but then we'll see how people are reacting. A lot of people may actually be a little concerned that they don't have something lined up for post-launch content. But honestly, I'm thrilled that they will be focusing on the game when it releases, making sure that it's running right, polished, and they're not already steering the ship into how do they monetize the game or how do they immediately start making more content. First and foremost, it seems like they're really, really focused on getting this game right. And, that's apparent with the demo. Now, it says this, it's a refreshing change of pace for the industry. I totally agree with that. Today, most games live or die based on DLC that's planned or even announced even before release, and this mentality may be another example of People Can Fly distancing themselves from the idea that Outriders is game as a service title. Now, it says Outriders' two most frequent comparisons, Destiny 2 and The Division, both embraced game as a service with waves of DLC trickled to players over the years. For The Division, that's meant story-driven DLC update. Destiny 2 has taken a more aggressive approach. Of course, we know about this. Now, it says other games in the genre have standardized practices like battle passes and purchasable items, be they permanent cosmetics or game-boosting consumables, in order to pad the bottom line. And you know what? It could be that People Can Fly and even Square Enix are really kind of learning from the mishaps that a lot of other looter shooters have had during their launch, or even like MMOs, PvP games, what have you. And they're like being super cautious. They want a good experience at first to establish the franchise first and foremost. Now, it goes on to say this: Outriders looks as if it will be a complete experience at launch, but the promise of DLC could make the game infinitely more replayable. It says the game's current build boosts 4 classes: Devastator, Pyromancer, Trickster, and Technomancer, each with their own unique abilities and focuses, which is definitely true. The game also includes enough save slots for up to 6 characters, meaning players have plenty of room to experiment with their preferred loadouts or just have a variety of fire teams with friends. So yeah, they're doing a lot of things right. That's what that's telling me right there. Now, of course, what about new classes? That would be really badass. It says, however, new classes could quickly shake up how the game plays. Other massive games have done this for years. Destiny 2, for example, recently shook up its core gameplay by adding an entirely new subclass Stasis, which plays radically different from anything else. So could they potentially add this in the near future? Remember, again, check out that Outriders giveaway in the description below. Accidentally popped that up. But anyway, yeah, it could be potentially something they look into down the road. So let me know what you guys would like to see for DLC. Classes would be really cool. More expanded story arc for some of these characters, which we would love to actually know more about. So yeah, there's a lot of potential there for sure. But let's keep going and let's talk about being able to favorite your items and lock them away. So this was the request out on Reddit. It says, "Dear devs, please, if possible, give us a way to mark weapons and armor as favorites. Maybe like how Borderlands does it. A lot of gear looks very similar, and being able to keep track of a few things would be nice so that we don't accidentally sell or dismantle something we don't mean to. Also, 30 main weapon inventory slots seem a bit small. Any chance on upping that amount?" Now, if you go here, it looks like a player has actually discovered that you can lock away items and gear sets to make sure that you do not break them down accidentally. And this was actually confirmed by them being able to do what is called, as you can see here, memory editing right there. So what that means is they're able to actually look into the game files by data mining and seeing what's going on there and determining that, yes, it appears this is going to be a feature in the final build of the game. So that is great to know. Now, what about those pesky loading cutscenes? You know, even when jumping over a ravine or opening up a door, there's always some sort of short little cutscene that a lot of people are kind of annoyed by. As you can see right here, Wesley out on Twitter says, "Not sure I need a cutscene for that jump, Outriders." And a lot of people agree. It has like 3,100 comments on it, 25,000 favorites. It says here, it doesn't help that in these cutscenes your character magically ditches the armor you've just been wearing to show their face and hair, and then when you materialize on the other side, the armor is magically back on. So People Can Fly do actually have an explanation as to why they actually developed the game this way. So let's take a look. It says here, as you would expect, there is loading of the new area going on here, but there's another reason for this jarring transition. It's co-op. Outriders can be played 3-player co-op throughout the entire game. Without dedicated servers, Outriders needs to bring all players together when one wants to enter a new area. The game isn't able to have all players running around entirely different arenas at the same time. This is what the developers had to say. People Can Fly, they say, "It started out quite pragmatic because we needed a system that would help us teleport the players and stream some of the other content to start to load the other arena," Kamitra told. This is Eurogamer, by the way. It says, "But why have cutscenes showing your character transition, performing banal acts such as opening doors, climbing ledges, and jumping across chasms? After all, it's not like Outriders is the first co-op game to offer different arenas for players to explore at the same time. Last gen we had Destiny, and the gen before we had Borderlands. There are many other examples, each with their own solutions for keeping co-op players seamlessly playing together in the virtual world." It says, because of feedback during playtest, People Can Fly said. Initially, Outriders did not have these loading screens. Instead, there was a simple fade in and fade out as all players were brought together, but some playtesters complained they were disoriented when they loaded into a new area. They didn't know where they had gone to, and so the brief cutscenes showing your character physically moving to a new area were born. It says a good example is opening the door. That was only because people in playtest said, oh, where am I? Why was I teleported? So we needed to have these cutscenes. We couldn't have done it manually, so you can go through the doors because we have a multiplayer game that opens different problems for us. That's the explanation, because you don't want to suddenly have the team leader, or the host, I should say, decide to go into a new area and then everyone is just instantly teleported. That's their explanation. They do go on to say in this article they may be looking for ways to work around this, but right now this is how it is with the game, and don't expect that to actually change. That's what they actually mentioned here in the article, but we'll see what happens as well. Let me know what you guys make of this. I remember Anthem, I believe they had some little cutscenes in there when you enter an area, but for the most part it was like a countdown timer. I think that what they could honestly do is just have a countdown timer, like 5 seconds, to know that you are progressing to a new area, and then get rid of the cutscenes and then just have the fade to black. And I think people would get it. They would understand what is happening and where they are. Let's keep going, shall we? Now let's talk about PvP. This article describes why the game does not have PvP as well. Of course, it's a PvE only title. So let's dive in. It says right here, Outriders also has a number of systems in place that simply wouldn't work in PvP, or at least give off the same experience that PvP is hoping to deliver. The same reasoning is also why Outriders isn't that's a live service type title, though it doesn't mean PvP is done with the game it is released. They say this is from People Can Fly. That is still the case, so we are not a games as service. Nothing has changed here. We were tempted in the beginning to go this way, but we want to go in a different process and realize that these systems didn't make progress for us and not making the game better, and it just basically make the game worse, so we decided to resign from it. For example, I can give the story component of the games as service was a little bit difficult for us to chop into serious content. This would put things differently, and we realized this game has a whole story where it has a beginning to end, so basically not working as a game as service for us. And there were other systems that weren't exactly working. I know it sounded, because most of the shooter competitors are doing the game as service, that this can work great, but somehow in our mind it worked differently, and we were thinking more old school, like Diablo style. Excuse me. So what's important is when we release the game, that doesn't mean we abandon the game and we don't want to work on this game anymore. If we have the player base, People Can Fly will be able to say this works for sure to produce more content, produce more adventures and activities for the people. It doesn't have to always be a game as service system, rather than maybe fit into the bigger blocks with the daily chores or daily quests, or however you call it. So yeah, you never know, down the road PvP could be something they look into in the future, but honestly I just love it being PvE. That's just my opinion. That's what I prefer. All right, now it's time to go over your top comments. Remember to leave a comment down below. It could end up right here in a future video. So let's do this. Let's take a look at what my most recent Outriders video was about. It was about players being punished with a Thanos-style snap reset. So if anyone is caught cheating, it appears that People Can Fly will actually reset their accounts. And a lot of people agreed with this. They said, John Farrell says, reset characters on day one of confirmed cheaters. That's fair. So, you know, a lot of the progress from the demo will be carrying over to the full game, and a lot of you don't want people to have unfair advantages and to have like freaking 20 legendaries unlocked out of the gates. Quickness says, I have never seen a demo talked about and played so much in my life. Pretty wild. We do not know enough about the game, people. That's something that I'm excited about. It seems like this game might be bigger than a lot of people realize. Let's see here. Paul says, grind demo for 1,000 hours, complain game lacks content when released. See, that's what I'm worried about. You know, that would be ridiculous. I think once you've grinded the demo, just back off of it a little bit and, you know, we'll see what happens. I know a lot of people are legit about grinding the game, but hopefully people don't exhaust the loot in the game already just by overplaying it and they actually, you know, go outside, see the sun. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned here for more Outriders news updates and, of course, open world gaming goodness. And I will see you all next time. Take care.